Welcome to Cocktail Hour at the Coop. I am Liz from Arrow Acres. My sister Leanne. We are at the Coop at Arrow Acres Farm, our parents' alpaca farm in Wall, New Jersey.
And it's starting to thunder and lightning outside, so you may hear thunder and lightning.
I hear it now.
But I like a rainy day. I was talking about with Purple Debbie, summertime.
Oh yeah.
When it's nice out, you feel like you have to go
She didn't get the rain
outside.
before. Were you home for the first batch of rain? Like when it downpoured?
Yeah, well, I just drove home. I had just gotten home, and I played Topgolf today for work. And it was like an hour away, southwest New Jersey, Mount Laurel. And I was driving home in some rain, and then I got home, and I was like, ooh, it looks like it's going to happen now. Got in the house, and it was like a minute later.
It was funny. The boys were outside playing kickball, and I realized all my umbrellas were up. I was like, ooh, it's getting windy. So I went out there to start cranking them down, and we got poured on.
We need it.
Oh, it's been so dry.
So dry, but it's nice that we had rain the other day, and we have rain now. We had those awful Canada wildfires. That smoke was like...
I feel so bad for everybody up there.
It was crazy here. So that moved through. Hopefully it doesn't come back, because it could, I guess.
Yeah.
It's still burning up there, but I like a rainy day.
We're getting the Nova Scotia fires.
Nova Scotia?
Nova Scotia.
Do they have an accent?
I don't know.
Big
We always
fish?
say it like that.
Fish and cheese?
Breeze come through. Okay, so tomorrow's the last day of school for the kids. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a bad thing for you.
Do you hear it?
Thunder, lightning, and the thunder. Can we take that yarn tag down with the prices?
Yeah.
It bothered me the whole time last podcast.
Sure.
Thanks.
Is that better?
Yeah,
That's
thank
better.
you. Just I see it the whole time. Yeah, last day of school tomorrow. Well, I have them all. I've had my big kids home, and that's a lot. So.
Okay, so I haven't been making all that much. Oh, I do have some things in the other room I meant to grab to show, but just simple stuff. I don't think I showed them last time.
Well, we made a blanket for our cousin, and I'll put some pictures in.
But I brought it with me.
Never mind. That's right. We didn't give it to her yet. So our cousin, who's actually our real cousin, our dad's cousin, first cousin, she is like just a wonderful, wonderful, fun, happy, wonderful, loving person. So she's going through some health stuff. So when we found out, I didn't know what to do. So I just thought we need to make something for her. And she goes to Rhinebeck with us. And there's like 14 or 15 of us in that house. And we've actually all kind of called ourselves a Rhinebeck cousins. Even if you're not a cousin, you're now officially a cousin.
Because the first 1 year, it was like, well, who are these people? And we're like, oh, well, this is Marianne. She's our mom's cousin. And this is Carolyn. She's our dad's cousin. And this is Courtney. She's our cousin. And so 7 of us were related out of 14.
Yes.
So they were all like, well, we want to be cousins.
Yeah. So now we call ourselves the Rhinebeck cousins. So anyway, I was like, all right, let's do something that we can do quickly. And I just put it out there, make an 8-inch square, crocheted or knit, whatever, and send it to us, and we'll put it together and make her a blanket that she could wrap herself up in. And we know she likes purple, and she likes chunky things, but we went with like a worsted yarn. And we were gonna make a pattern, like that was an actual pattern, but it just was too complicated. And
because we have knitters and crocheters.
Yeah, so we just did 8-inch square.
You hold that one.
And it came out so good. Look.
It's so big.
Here it is. Look. And in the middle, Lara made one with a
heart.
heart.
Oh, it's upside down.
But there's a heart. And look at it all. Right?
I held 2 together on some of them.
And I put pom-poms on every corner because she loves big
loves
pom-poms. She's such a pom-pom girl.
Pom-poms. And I'll show you closely the join. Oh, it's getting blown out a little bit. So what I did was everybody sent the squares, and I crocheted in the white around each one so that I had 28 stitches even. So that way when I put them all together, it didn't matter. Like you did some knitted ones with little needles.
Yeah.
See how little those stitches are. And then we had some big, huge crocheted ones with like huge stitches. So I did 28, and then once they were all good, I just like laid them all out, and we ended up doing 7 by 7 square because that's what we had.
This one's pretty too. Is this Lara?
Yes,
it's a flower on
flower.
there. Yeah, so we all
So you can see how different they all are.
And
we just pulled from our
sparkles
stash.
in hers.
Yeah, we pulled from our stash.
So we have to get it up to her. So we put it together. I mean, we pulled this thing together in
Very
2.5, 3 weeks, the most. But now we have to get it to her. I've been sick, and we didn't want to spread germs.
No.
But we think she's doing okay. I actually haven't talked to her enough.
No,
I was,
I haven't talked to her
you know,
either.
checking in like nonstop, and now I don't know. She's posted about crabs on the
Yeah.
for sale on Facebook, so I took that as a very good sign. So anyway, but this got us thinking. It was really nice to be a part of like a big, like community project. And I had put on our Patron page like, are there other things that people do? Like a group thing like that where you send something in. It was really nice. I'd love to do it again.
So
It's
if
just
you
something
guys
really
ever
fun.
have, and you don't have to make one this big, you know, like even if it was like, you know, 4 squares by 4 squares, just a little something to show somebody that you're thinking of them, especially if you have a group of makers. And the way we did it, it didn't matter what you did. It just had to be 8 inches by 8 inches.
Yeah.
And we said worsted weight yarn. So like I held some sock weight together with some other stuff, and
Yep.
I don't know. It was just a mishmash. But it was fun
So that
to
was
make.
our fun. Yeah, and hopefully she'll be happy. What do you have? Are you showing stuff?
I got stuff to show, but I had to.
I'll show.
I had
We're
to
gonna
move it.
finish. So I'll show my sweater.
Yeah, you finished.
Ta-da! I finished my sweater. It was on the needles for over a year. Not because I didn't like doing it, but because it's fingering weight yarn, and holy moly, it takes forever, and it gets boring once you get past
It's so
this.
pretty though.
It's the Annashah sweater. Annashah sweater by Jennifer Steingass. I knit it with wool.
Our door's closing.
Creepy. Where's Uncle Mayo? Hi, Uncle Mayo. With wool, wash fingering yarn, who's since gone out of business, I think. I don't know if she's still selling yarn, but I bought it at Paige's shop at Freeman Fiber, and I think she may still have some in the shop, like in her Etsy shop, because she carried a lot of wool. And the white is called Cattail, and the pink is called Pasture Rose. Isn't that a nice name? That'd be a nice color for your stuff.
Well, speaking of that pasture rose, I have yarn that
So
looks like
I'll
it.
show. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Oh, there it is. I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. It was probably long sleeve, but I did 3/4 length, and I don't know what size I did, but it's on my Ravelry page, and it's very nice and light, and it looks cute over one of my dresses. I got like those dresses that are super cheap online, and it looks nice over that.
Oh, I wanted to add that to our notes. So we want to sew.
Oh, I have something to show you.
Okay. So we'll talk about that later. So then, speaking of your rose, well, this is not even close, but
Oh, it's not showing up.
no, it's not sure. Maybe
It's
if
like
I
dusty rosy pink.
maybe if I go. No,
It's not showing up.
I did some avocado dye. So it's
Kind of.
prettier in person.
It's pretty in person. That's more pinky.
I'm gonna just turn this back up. So I tried avocado dye last year, and I basically got like flesh tone, weird brownish ick, and I was like, oh, bummer. And then Sister Wilma in our guild, she's not really allowed to come to many of our meetings. Like, she just can't get out. She's actually a nun.
She's a real sister.
She's a real sister. And she's allowed to come to some things, but she hasn't been in quite a while. But she's been experimenting. She'll like do what we do at our meetings on her own, kind of, if I put a tutorial out or something like that. And she did some avocado dyes, and she got the prettiest colors. So she said what she did. So I'm like, I'm trying it again. So I do it again. Now, I get my avocados at Aldi. They're the exact same avocados. My pits are white in the middle. And when I watch the videos, they're brown in the middle. So I don't know if it's a different type of avocado. Like, the pit is
Were they
brown, but
older or
no, mine are nice and fresh. Like, I let them dry out and
yeah.
stuff, but I think it has to do with the pit, like what type of avocado, where it comes from, something like that. I'm gonna do some experimenting with different ones, but I did it. And then my plan was I had 4 skeins to play with, and I put the first one in for half hour, and then I added the second one.
How many avocado pits?
I did a lot. I
You
did
eat
like
a lot of guacamole.
we do. We eat a lot of avocados. I think I did like 10 or something. Like whatever I had in the jar, I was like, I'm doing it all.
It just goes in the hot water.
So you simmer it for like a couple hours, and then you turn it off, and you leave everything in it, and you let it like cool completely overnight. And then the next day you strain the pits and the skins out.
Oh, it's skins and pits?
Skins and pits. And then you turn it back on and get it warm, and you dye your yarn. So
You don't have to put any like
There's no,
like,
there's tannin in the pits.
Okay.
So you don't need to pre-treat. You don't need to do like the alum or anything like that. Soda ash, stuff like that. You don't have to do that with avocado dyes. It's really simple. Do you have
like a video or something where you learned all that we can link on here?
I watched a million of them.
Okay.
If you look up avocado dye, like natural dye avocado.
Sometimes I watch podcasts and I learn from them, and I feel like we don't teach anyone anything. We just chit chat. But like, if I was watching this and I wanted to do it, I'd be like, well, how do I do it?
Yeah, that's me. So I watched hours and hours and hours worth of tutorials that I just Googled. I just YouTubed, natural dyeing avocados. And I watched a bunch of them. So I did that. So, but then I wanted to make them gradient, which they are a gradient. You can kind of see that. They're definitely more pink in person. So I did this one for half hour and I'm like, it's the same ugly brown. I'm like, all right. There's something with the pH and stuff. Somebody in one of the many videos I watched at some point put baking soda in there. So I was like, baking soda it is. So I put baking soda and it turned pink. I was like, oh, look at that. So half hour and I left it in and then I added this one and at a half hour I added this one and at a half hour I added this one. So this one sucks up most of the dye. Right? And then there's less dye particles in the water.
That makes sense.
And then I put this one in. And I did add water and baking soda as I was doing it because of the color. But I like how they turned out. They're very pretty.
What are you going to make with it?
It's only 880 yards. And I was thinking like a little gradient like tea. But it's alpaca. And it's going to be hot. So a tea doesn't make any sense. And it's going to pill... I think.
Maybe a pretty, like, triangle shawl thing.
Yeah, but it's a lot of yardage. So, I don't know what I'm going to make with it. So, if you have ideas for me, 880 yards, and it's a DK, but it also kind of works for light worsted.
Well, you could always throw in another color and do, like...
Oh, for sure.
Like a
white even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could match. We could have white and pink. That'd be nice.
And I haven't started my Rhinebeck sweater, so...
Dude,
I know.
You need to start.
I know.
I was thinking about that. We have to pay our second half soon. I was going to tell Joan to start collecting.
Yes.
Because Joan's not going. But she's my money lady. She collects.
Yes.
Don't you love Rhinebeck? I can't wait. I'm so excited. I have one sweater done. Another sweater, I just have to finish my Mountain Mist. I just have to sit and do it. I'm almost at the ribbing at the bottom and just the sleeves. That's just like a long weekend. One weekend. Then I have another one I'm going to show in a minute. That could be a rhyme. I have so many sweaters.
I have in my head what I want to do, and I drew it out. So I think once I start,
you got to get on it.
Fine.
Because summer is busy.
I know.
For you, because you have little kids.
My little kids are also very lazy. They can be lazy. They like to be lazy.
Oh.
So we can have days like where they just sit and play video games all day. And that's fine with me if I need to work on a sweater.
You could do that. Okay, so.
I have this.
You show that. Can I? I left my.
Sister language. That was sister language.
Sure was. You know what I'm finding? Like my older boys have been home now for a couple weeks now, both together. They remind me of us. Like they'll be like, "Did you see that?" But and they like finish each other's sentences, and they all know. I don't know. They all know what they're talking about.
So.
Oh, and I also told Lauren. I asked if I could talk about her on the podcast just now, and I think it was a yes. Garrett was on the phone with Lauren. I said, we're going to record. Maybe I'll mention her. Okay, go ahead. That's another story.
So I've had the bug to do Shibori dyeing for years.
Why is it called Shibori?
It's a Japanese technique.
Oh.
There's lots of different ways to do it. There's resists, and there's, you can stitch with thread and pull it tight. It's fancy tie-dye, but you can you can stitch.
It's Japanese tie-dye?
Yeah, and there's right ways to do it. There's wrong ways. Shishiko.
I did my jeans. I like that.
So there's right ways and wrong ways to do it, but there's also resists. Like you can use wood blocks, you can use rubber bands, you can use string, you can use. I used clothespins. I used binder clips. I tried a whole bunch of things. So these are, I'm calling them receiving blankets, just because.
I just lactated.
Because that's what they are. They're 100% cotton. And they're like real, they'd be really nice nursing blankets. Like I wish I had them, right?
Yes.
So this one I did with clothespins. So the clothespins made all the little dots. See?
That's cool.
And you accordion fold it. So I did make a tutorial video for this one. This will be on our Patreon for our patrons
Cool.
for tutorials.
And these are just, tell them what, you got them at the dollar store, right?
I did. They're from the dollar store, and they are 100% cotton feed sack towels.
You could use them as a little,
They're dish
I
towels.
just felt like so comfy. Yes, you can use them as nice little table, like on your table.
Yeah, this
outside
one,
picnic tables. Wouldn't that be pretty all together? You could do red, white, and blue.
Yeah, so I used RIT dye for these.
You didn't harvest your own indigo?
No, I do have an indigo kit though, but I think I'm going to do that with the guild. So, because I'm teaching this for banana bread was delicious. So Purple Debbie had rotten bananas, and she was like, "Do you have a good go-to banana bread recipe?" I was like, "I do." All recipes banana bread. Just Google it, and the first one that comes up, it's delicious. And there's like nothing in it, and she agrees. She just made it. So this one was wood blocks and string.
And you have a picture of this when it was in progress.
I do.
You sent it to me.
I do have pictures of them before. This one was popsicle sticks. No, that one was popsicle sticks and string. This one was a bigger wood block and string, which basically turned out the same as that one. It wasn't supposed to. I did something wrong with this one, but...
Well, they're bigger rectangles.
Yeah. Then this one I used triangle wood blocks that I cut downstairs on the saw. So look at that.
Handy.
I did triangle. So the white is where the triangle block was.
Oh.
See? And then let's see. And then so then I still had my RIT dye in the bucket. And I was like, I want to do some other ones, but I need a pipe. I need PVC pipe. I'm like, I know Dad's got some. So when I came over in the morning the next day, I got a PVC pipe and I made this one. But the dye, look how much lighter it is.
Yeah.
So it was the RIT dye, same exact batch, but it was the next day. So no, it doesn't work as well if you leave it overnight. I didn't know.
It looks like a zebra.
I know, I like it. I'm not really an animal print person, but I like this. And then this one was clothespins in a different pattern. But I love them. I think they came out so cool. They were so fun to do. Like I said, I did not do the stitching ones. They are not perfect. I know they're not perfect. I did iron my creases.
It's not perfect.
I don't
We are not perfect.
We are not perfect people.
Far from it.
So I was just having fun experimenting, and then I was at the dollar store today, and they were restocked on them. I was like, whoop. When I checked out, the lady was like, "How many is there? Do you have 16?" I was like, "I don't know. I have whatever was hanging on the rack. I didn't count them."
You just took them all.
But we're thinking for our guild that we're gonna dye fabric at one of our meetings this summer, like a weekend workshop, and then we're gonna use that fabric to sew a bag at another workshop, like learn how to cut the pattern. Like we're gonna find like a relatively simple pattern, but like that's not simple. And then we may do like a kumihimo night where I've done kumihimo before. It's a disc, it's like a little foam disc, and there's slots. It's fancy, like when we used to do the friendship bracelets and stuff, but it's like a cord. It comes out like you make a rope with it. I'll do a video on that if I do it. We might do it at our meeting next week. So
you really do all the things. I
do all the things. But I said like for our guild we do so many different things. So I was like, let's combine.
Yeah, but I have no desire to like even learn any of that. Isn't it interesting though? Mm-hmm. Like I make every day, always making, but all that stuff I'm like, okay. But we're gonna learn to sew. We're gonna practice sewing.
Yeah, I know what I want,
And Lara, my friend Lara, so I've been very cranky lately, and I figured it out. I had to like really break it down. I have my little routine. It's not exciting, but it's a routine, and part of that routine means everyone leaves the house when I work, and no one leaves the house. Between my older kids being home and having totally different schedules than me, and not being able to go to my coffee knit. I go Monday mornings. We have a group, and they are still cleaning, or like the timing doesn't work for Liz and my mom, but right over here there's just a group of us. Usually there's like 5 of us, maybe there's 3, maybe there's 6, and from 10 to 12 we just sit and drink coffee and knit. I bring my laptop. Actually I'm working, and I do work. They can vouch for me. I do work, but I didn't have it. I had to work. I had a golf outing, and then I was sick, and I don't know. Anyway, I went, and it was like everything was good. Seashore Sharon gave me a little prize.
I hear the golf cart.
Oh boy, here we go. Look at Seashore Sharon. She gave us all little prizes.
We
didn't
went past.
So, if you know Seashore Sharon, and a lot of you do,
She's the kindest
she's
human.
the most thoughtful,
generous
person. And she's like, here, girls. She knew who was going to be there. We have a little group text of who was going to be there. She had these adorable little lunch bag sacks thing, whatever. I'm like, where do you get these? She's like, the grocery store. And then little happy summer, Seashore Sharon.
With a little crab.
And look what was inside of it. It's so cute. A little tin with strawberries on it. And inside, little tiny scissors and a little tiny pencil. She's just, here you go. Here, girls. And that's how she does it, right? Here.
Yeah.
So anyway, and Lara knew that we were interested in sewing and really like trying to make some things. And I've dabbled in it. I'm not great. I don't have a serger but
I think my mother-in-law's machine has a serger.
And Seashore Sharon does too, and she's gonna finish our stuff.
And there's some sort of a foot I need because I want to use knits. Yeah. So there's like a.
I know, we talked about that too. So we're gonna talk about that. But my friend Lara took a class on Craftsy. So Fast Track Fitting, it's called. All right. So she printed out just this part. Like there was a whole thing because she paid for it and she wasn't, which is fine. She's like, I don't want to get nope. I paid for the class.
I'm with it.
But she's like, but I wanted to give you this, one for me, one for you, and one in case we lose one and we have a extra copy.
We'll leave that here with our stuff.
So anyway, it's all about how to really like measure yourself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they used me as the model. Look at that skinny waist. That's me. And so, but it's like every little point. Yeah. And she goes, because at our age, our fronts are bigger than our backs. And I'm like, oh, when you're all done, we sign up for Weight Watchers. So we should do this and then take the class together.
I think we should.
So I have off the whole last week of June. And I'm kind of hoping for a rainy day. And we're going to have a sewing day. We're going to
have a rainy weekend. We can just find a rainy weekend.
We're going to put our sewing machines in your basement. And we're just going to like go for it. And I think we should watch the class because then, like Lara said, no, you don't have to join Weight Watchers. You just have to make your clothes so they fit you. Because like I'm really broad here, and like Chevy Rell, she just did a thing where she made the dress, but she's like, like it was really tight. And we're talking about where to buy patterns because like there's no Ravelry for sewing, but we both like.
I went on Pinterest. Oh, it's on my phone.
We like the Metamorphosis dress, and then it's the same person. Who's that person? We seem to like the same stuff.
I pinned a whole bunch of like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this,
something.
this.
Everyone's yelling at us right now. It's this, that. It's so, I don't know what it is. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the bottom.
Pinterest?
I don't know. Oh, my phone. And then I like Lotta Jan's daughter. I've made her tunics before. Obviously, I have to go up a size because I got bigger since last time I made tunics. But I really like them. But jersey, I'm not good at sewing that stuff.
I want sundresses that are jersey knit. Like that's what I wear in the summer.
And stuff.
I don't want linen-y. I want jersey.
I want linen-y. And Lara went to Joann's and got linen, and she bought the bolts because like if you buy the bolt, you get an extra percentage. So she has 2 bolts. So if we ever wanted to buy it from her, she does have it. Okay. She was going back there because she had a coupon that was on her list of things to do on Monday after our coffee.
I did see some nice.
So she did. She was going up to get more, but we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna do.
I think I'm gonna buy a few patterns. Exactly what, because I found
So Liberated. That's it. So Liberated. SEWliberated.com.
And I pinned them on Pinterest, and I'm like, I think I just want to buy them because I don't know how much yardage to buy.
You have to buy. Yeah, you know you gotta
no,
buy
but like I don't even have an idea of how much yardage I need for like a basic sundress.
I'm really hot. I'm trying not to touch my hair, but it's like getting hot in here.
It's hot
in here. Oh, Jock Jams.
Jock Jams.
Okay, so I went to. Chase had a baseball game.
I have a good story after
and we were driving, and every time we go to baseball, I'm like, what do you want to put on? And he has his songs. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, Jock Jams. I was like, whoop, there it is. And then we're doing a Tootsie Roll. See if he stops in. Tootsie Roll. I knew all the words. He's like, you know all the words of these songs? I'm like,
Tootsie Roll.
I'm like, back at the...
Oh, he went past again. Going? Yeah. He didn't see us. It's raining. He's got his head down.
But I was right back at my like junior prom, and to the left, to the right.
So can I tell you a funny story? Well, you already know it. I'll tell them. So on what's today? Wednesday.
Monday. You did the most non-mom. As Chase said, that was the most un-mom thing Aunt Lizzie has ever done.
So on Monday, I wrote to two of my girlfriends. I'm like, you guys want to go for a walk? Or maybe Sunday night. You want to go for a walk and sit on the beach tomorrow? Because it's our last full day without kids.
As he said, that's what normal mom things are. Go to the beach or take a walk.
So it was cloudy out. And I'm like, you girls want to go to Great Adventure? Now, Six Flags. Yes, Ooh. Six Flags. Like, so in the ours is called Great Adventure.
But it's Six Flags.
Six Flags. And it's like 20 minutes from our house. We all have season passes because of our children. But our children don't go on the big rides. We do. But we can't go on them when it's just us and the children. So I was like, you girls want to go to Great Adventure? And they were like, yes! All right, I get done with work at like 10:30. I'll be done with this they had 5th grade graduation till whatever. And I was like, we got this, guys. We got this. We went on every single big roller coaster that was open. We had so much fun. But the very first ride we got off of, we went on Medusa, and we get off, and it was like, I'm going to guess they were freshmen in college. There were tons of class trips there. They all had matching shirts on. These kids were, I was like, they're like Garrett's age, right? And the one kid sees us and he's like, moms. I don't know what he thought. I don't know what he thought when he saw us. But when you get off Medusa, you just zigzag back and forth down, so you pass each other over and over. So the first time he like went to like give us high fives, and none of us were prepared. And Jackie coaches at a gym. She's like a gym instructor. So she's like hiring us. She's like, yeah, slap the mom's hand. High fives for the moms. And then we're like, oh my gosh. We're the only people without little kids here that aren't chaperones.
Totally posted a picture on Instagram, and I was like, because I saw, okay, so I live next to my parents, and she lives across the street. So you tend to notice things, right? So if there's a car, like, I'm like, oh, she has someone over, and I'm not being like nosy. It's just,
you pass it.
And she just had 2 cars, and I'm like, I wonder who that is. And it was all day, and I'm like, because normally, like, you have a class mom to, like, put stuff together for the class party. So in my head, I'm like, oh, she must be, like, having, like, Robin over to do, like, the party thing. And I'm like, wow, they've been there a long time. And then I saw Tony's picture. I was like, oh, here comes out. I'm like, oh, my God, they went to Great Adventure without the kids.
So we also, like, I was like, Nick, you going to be home for 3 o'clock for the kids? He's like, yeah, I'll be home. Have fun. And Jackie has 4 kids, and they get picked up at different times because she's got a little one and then older ones. So she was like, Scott, can you get all the kids today? He was like, yeah, have fun. And then John works from home. So I was like, Tony, can John get the kids? Because we waited online really long time for one of the rides, and we shouldn't have, but we did, and it was fun. He was the only one who kind of gave her a hard time, though. But he said it was fine. But she was like, I don't think he means it's fine. Hi, Dad.
But you got throw it away.
We forgot to do oh, you think you threw it away?
Yeah.
In this one?
I think so.
So Dad is going to garbage pick right now. You know the little thing that goes into your USB port that's like the Bluetooth for your mouse?
Yes, that little teeny tiny thing.
He can't find it. And he's like, I was cleaning up at one point, and I thought, what the heck is this thing? And threw it away. He thinks it may be in that garbage.
That's his appearance.
So he's garbage picking.
And he's probably going to do it right there and make all the noise.
Okay, anyway, so we did Great Adventure.
All right, well, I
have
whips. Sorry for the cough. I've been sick for like 3 weeks. I'm getting better.
We didn't talk about that. I didn't talk about, so if anybody has crochet sweaters, suggest them to me, please. And they can be short sleeve. Tees, crochet tee.
Oh, I thought you picked one.
I kind of did, but when I looked at all the projects and I looked at the people wearing them, I was like, oh, I don't think I like that. Like, the model's really skinny and cute, but when somebody's a little chunky like me, I'm like, oh, that's pretty not so attractive.
I find, so we were talking about Ravelry pages at knitting on Monday. So I'm going to join, maybe I'll talk about that now. I'm going to join in on the Make Along with the Needles at the Ready podcast. The boys, Kevin, I call them the boys. They're not the boys. They're men. They're my age. Kevin and Ray, they're a married couple. They're wonderful. And they're running called Let's Hear It for the Boys Make Along.
Did you find it?
I was wrong.
Oh, no. All right, I'll keep my eyes out, Dad. Let's hear it for the boys.
Let's hear it for the boys. So their podcast is News at the Ready. They are running this make along June 1st to August 31st. Just make something for a boy, a man.
I think I'm going to make something
guy.
for Wade.
So I said to everyone, who would want something, and Rick said he'd like a hat and he would like a new sweater, because remember I made him the sweater years ago and it didn't fit him. So their make along is only on Ravelry. So they have a Ravelry group you have to go on. So on Monday I said to them, give me some hats too, like, because Tracy's a big hat knitter. So we were talking about Ravelry. And I was like, let me show you the ones I made. And she said, oh, you have good project pages. I'm like, I love project pages. I put everything, so does she. Because when you want to make something,
When you can go in.
you can go in and you
I
can see
know.
people's notes, or
I'm
like,
not
I
good at
hated this.
project pages. Oh,
Oh,
the window was open.
oh,
What?
Ruh-roh. Wasn't me.
the window was open.
Oh boy.
So,
He's just
walking around the wandering. Oh, I have mom's cough. It's awful.
Let's have some wine.
It's like cough syrup,
I
right?
eat a lot of, not Halls. Ricola, that one.
Oh, yeah, Ricola.
But like they're,
The square ones.
no,
Oh.
they're like Berry Mountain.
Oh, I
Like-
like the pepperminty ones.
Good night, girl.
But I just
night.
keep coughing. So I'll probably cut all that out. But you know what? Sometimes I
No,
just leave it in.
that one's you can leave that.
Well,
in.
when we were saying where should we record, I wanted to record here, but I said we got to do it early before Dad interrupts us, because he just like wanders about. Anyway, where was I? Cat project pages. But if you're a Ravelry person, pick a project page. Just even if there's notes like I changed this, or I didn't like this, or this was really hard, or this was super easy. Like I look at all, because you spend a lot of time, a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I like project pages. So anyway, I'm going to make, I figured out what sweater I'm going to make, Rick. And it's the Ranger sweater by Jared Flood. Andy has made 2 for Sean. And they look so nice on him.
I know which one
And I
you're
know
talking
Rick will wear it. So I'm going to make that. But I have to buy the yarn for it. I don't have yarn, so I have nothing to show. But I am making a hat for Rick because he asked for a hat. And I thought I'd make it. I had some farm yarn Mom gifted me probably years ago in my stocking. That's the only time I get farm yarn this Christmas, even though it's right there. I'm making, it's a free pattern. Because Andy makes him a nice hat every single Christmas.
And he
And
made
makes
Nick a nice hat.
a
and he
really nice.
loved it.
Oh, I should have made that. I can still make it.
The one that she gave Nick.
That was a really
Very
nice.
nice. But I
one.
think it's double knit.
It is. This is called the Ice House hat. I'm making it one color. It's a free pattern. Oh, it's all blown out. So they have you do 2 colors. I'm not, but I like the like decrease.
Oh,
See the
yeah, that's
decrease? And he has
Here,
a
hold
giant
on. I'll
head.
turn this down and I'll show.
Yeah, see if you can show that. It has a nice decrease.
There you
at the top.
go. See that?
I like it. And he has a really big head. So I wanted something that was like super stretchy. So it's going to be like, it could be really big.
Nick has a giant head.
So I'm using farm yarn from our animals. Super easy. I took it to Top Golf today for work. Because I went to the golf outing and I didn't have knitting and I was like shaking.
That's so funny because when
I
I'm out in
can't-
public, I can't work on anything.
Well, it depends on what it is. But I was at the golf outing
No,
for
but
work
nothing.
and I take pictures. So what we do is me and 2 of my friends from work, we park ourselves near the halfway house bathroom thing where there's food and booze and a bathroom. And we park ourselves there, and then as the foursomes come, we take a picture. But, you know, you have to wait for the foursomes. So in between, I didn't have knitting, and I was like, and I was,
Oh yeah, that I think I would.
I
to
was
have
like, I
something.
can't, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting. Like, I can't just sit. It was driving me crazy. I mean, we were chatting and having fun, but I was like, I could be knitting so much. So today we had our Employee Appreciation Day at Top Golf, and I didn't think I'd be able to golf at all because I have a back issue that I'm not supposed to twist. So I was like, I'm bringing my knitting. So I sat there. Well, does that spark conversations? Because the people that work with me every day know that I knit. Other people are like, what are you doing? Are you knitting? Do you knit? And then I was like, yep. What do you mean? And then it's like, then they find out you have a podcast. Then they find out there's Patron. They're like, wait, what? You can Zoom with people? I'm like, I have it tonight. I'm Zooming with people tonight. And they were like, what do you mean? It was like, I was like, oh my God, what are you making? And then, you have an alpaca farm? I'm like, okay. So That's what I'm making. Very easy. And you know, here's a funny thing. I'm a sweater knitter. That's what I am. When I cast on a sweater, I know I have this on my needles for a month to 2 months to 3 months. I'm never in a rush to get it done. I know it's going to be long. I cast something on and I want it to be done in 20 minutes if it's small. And I'm like annoyed that it's not done yet.
I started a scarf that's a really fast scarf today.
Does that make any sense?
I didn't bring it with me.
I started it Monday night.
And you think
Monday
it should
after
be done.
Monday after knitting, I wound my yarn, we picked the pattern, and I was like, why isn't it done yet? And I'm like, I want it to be over. But a sweater?
I like everything to be 20 minutes like that.
I don't. But when it's small, I guess it is.
I think that's why I haven't started the sweater yet.
But I love that. Oh, the sun's...
Yeah.
Sorry for the coughing.
I bet there's a rainbow outside.
Okay, I'm sweating.
Dad
All
will
right.
call us if there is.
All right. Yes, he does. He calls. All right, so
And I can't see them from my house.
No, you can't. Because they're like that
Trees.
way.
I have trees in the way. It would be, you see it right over my house, but I can't see it.
It's usually right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Dad sees it, he'll pop out and say, he'll call us. Okay. So, I'm making the Weekender sweater. Finally, I've been wanting to make it since I saw it come out. And I'm almost done already. I started it 2 weeks ago.
Talking of 2 and 3 month sweater projects.
Oh, well, look, it's a little wrinkly, but okay. So it has 10-inch positive ease. I'm a size 5 in Andrew Maurer. I made the Spark cardigan. I got bigger. I'm gonna make bigger sweaters. Cast it on. I did not do the tubular cast on because I was annoyed, so I stopped. So you'd like do the ribbing.
Have you done the tubular cast on before? Maybe that could be your new to you next year.
I mean, I can do it, but I was like,
Can you do it?
So I didn't do it. I did regular long tail. And then you just knit in the round, and there's like this cute little like fake seam that goes up the middle and the back. It's on both sides.
It's on both sides.
Both sides. The front and back are the same. Okay, so I did that, right? And then you split when you get to the sleeve. And as I split for the sleeve, this is where Lauren's going to come into my story. You put them on 2 different needles, right? Right. You're going to now work the front, and then you'll come back and work the back. And all of a sudden I saw how wide it was, and I was like, this thing's gigantic. And I'm freaking out. I'm like talking to myself. No one in my house knits, so it's just me and the boys. And I'm like, oh man, this is so wide. This is huge. I spent all that time. I didn't spend, it was like a week of knitting. And I'm like, I spent all that time and now it's just too big. And I'm so disappointed. And Lauren, my middle son's
friend.
My future daughter-in-law.
Oh, as Garrett said, one day I get on the car, he's like, I'm on the phone with my mom's girlfriend right now.
Okay, so my middle son met a girl at college, and
she wants to marry her.
I love her so much. She's very sweet, she's very smart, and she knits. So, right? Marry her, right? Anyway, she was like, wait, what are you doing? What are you upset about? And I'm like, I don't know. So I show her, and she was like, I think it's going to be fine. I'm like, because I have a sweater that I like that is cropped and super wide. I've worn it on here before and like has big sleeves, and I love it. And she was like, but it looks like that one that you're wearing now, and you like that. I'm like, you're right. And she was like, well, lay it. Is it the same width? And it was. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I think you're going to be fine. And I'm like, I love this girl. So
have you tried it on?
Yes. And it's perfect. So I did that. Then the sleeves are really cool because you join them in a 3-needle bind off, which I've done before. And it's a seam that you can see, which is kind of cool, right? I mean, you guys have seen these before. But what I've never done, this part, the neck part, you like knit one, slip it with yarn in front, knit, slip yarn in front, all the way across. Then do it again. Then you put them on 2 different needles, like all the slip ones on 2 needles, and you Kitchener stitch it. See how it's like a rounded edge?
Yeah.
You don't just bind off. You Kitchener stitch these 2. It was pretty cool. I'd never done it before.
I've Kitchener stitched myself.
I know you have.
I don't understand.
But I've never done that,
I think
and it was really cool. So anyway, that's
so that was a new to you. So that would be a good new to you project, people.
So now I'm on the sleeve, doing my decrease. I'm almost done with that sleeve, and I'm gonna do this. So this was like easily a 3-week sweater, but it's a US 9 needles. It's like it's a big
And it's worsted. It's like a
big
chunky
gauge,
sweater.
worsted, big gauge. I'm going to live in it. It's like a big giant sweatshirt. So I'm excited about that. So that's my whip. My big whip. And then I'm going to make the Ranger sweater for Rick. I just have to buy yarn.
So my next thing I'm going to be making is going to be charity makes. So Purple Debbie just made a bunch of soap sacks and gave them to me to donate. And then we should talk about Debbie Trainer's
Yes.
stuff. So you designed her little logo, her new little logo, right?
So Debbie Trainer.
She's
she
local
lives
to
here.
us.
And
She's a designer. She's a knitwear designer.
yeah.
Check her out. She has tons of patterns.
And she wrote a very cute little book that we sell here, a children's book. So her organization is called Each Stitch Counts. And she does washcloths, knitted or crocheted, and donates them, and also includes like dish soap
And she
and
also
laundry detergent.
Yeah, and she also has gotten a few grants now. So she has gotten, like, she just got a grant for, I think, $1,500 to help pay for the soaps and stuff. So you can donate if you want to do it yourself. You can go to, is it .org or .com?
I think it's org.
I think it's eachstitchcounts.org, but she's going to double check and we'll put it up here. And then you can send dishcloths to her and she'll donate them with soap, or you can donate them to your own local food pantries with dish soap. Like I said, she gets the funding for the soap, so if you can't afford to do the soap also, you can just
And it's
make
dish
them.
soap and laundry detergent.
Yeah.
Different than like soap sack. Our friend Stacy does that. That's like the soap, washing soap, like your body.
Bar soap.
Yeah, bar soap. That soap.
Yeah, Debbie's is liquid dish soap. And you have to make them, just go on our website. It has all the information, but which should be up here. And I think they're 6x6.
I'm gonna
or
put
8
everything
by
in the
8.
bottom.
8x8 washcloths. And cotton yarn, like inexpensive cotton yarn. Like we said, anything. Knit,
Someone
crochet.
made 80 dishcloths for her.
Wow. And she's on Instagram, Each Stitch Counts.
Yes.
So go check her out.
Yeah. Yep.
But I
lots of
feel like
stuff.
those projects are so good for summer. Like they're great to bring to the
Yep.
pool or to the beach. Soap sacks, Each Stitch Counts.
Yeah.
So
we really
I'm
like
gonna
doing
work on
all
a lot
that
of
stuff.
that.
And if you have a charity that you're affiliated with or you know of, let us know, comment, and we'll support them too. We really like doing that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's just a nice way to help out.
Yeah. I just bought like, I don't know, over 100 bars of soap at the dollar store. I had it all on my car. One lady goes, "Ooh, somebody's gonna be clean." and I told her
and
what
your
it
dish towels.
and I told her what it was for, and she goes, "Oh, I'm a knitter. That's a great idea. I'm gonna do that." So like silly things like that.
Oh,
you know?
speaking of, so many of you were generous and donated yarn to me for the affordable housing, and I had to go get something from their storage room, right? And there was like one box left they haven't sent, and there was some cotton yarn in there. I'm like, I am taking that because I'm gonna make them for Debbie's
Perfect.
thing. So I was like, you donated the yarn, I'm gonna make some dishcloths to go to that.
Yeah, to
So I
donate to
did grab it, and my son Garrett now works there. He's an intern, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking yarn?" I'm like, "Well, someone donated, and I'm gonna make something and donate." He was like, "Okay." He was just like, "What's
Would
happening?"
your housing unit? They would use the dish soap and the
100%.
washcloth. So maybe I'll get the
would
guild
love
in
it.
on that too.
Oh, they would love it. Asbury Tower in Asbury would be great. They would love it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's that.
So if you don't know where to donate to, well, Debbie has it on her website. Stacey has it on her website.
yeah.
So
And we'll link
there's lots
both
of
below.
places. But we are also happy. So if you live local to us and you want to drop it off to us at the farm,
Yeah.
or
We'll get it.
like we'll get it to where it needs
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. One more thing. I just want to talk about the book that you haven't started
I
yet.
haven't started. I'm
So
on like
our-
a 17-week wait.
Our patron group, we started, a lot of us are readers, so it just seemed natural to add a book into this whole thing. So we've been picking books the past couple of months, I guess,
Yeah,
like maybe
yeah.
6 months. Sometimes we read it, like I don't always get to read it. Sometimes, and you listen, but a lot of us do the library. So I think all of us either
Everybody,
listen on the library
yeah.
or get it from the library. And so this month,
Maybe I should do this one with my Apple.
maybe.
Book.
So this month we picked my girlfriend Peggy at work. Her husband's a reader, and he knows what I like. And when he recommends, I always like it. And so he recommended this Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Okay, by Jesse Sutanto. So I was like, all right, we'll put it up there. We always give 3 choices, right? So everybody's included in picking. This was by far the winner. So I requested from the library. I got it right away. But
so did Debbie.
A lot of people
Debbie got
are
her
on
book.
wait list.
But if all the listeners, we're all waiting.
And so we're going to push it to July, I think. But honestly, if you have a long day or like at the beach, if you have a like vacation day, you could easily read this in one day. And I wish I could. Like I had a day, I read that in one day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like Mrs. Kim from Gilmore Girls if someone was dead in her antique shop. Like that's it. And she's like gonna figure it out. And the cops are like, yeah. And she's like, oh no.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure this out. And she has a son that she learned what TikTok is because she wanted to
so
see.
it's a current book.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm on such a
She
wait
lives
list.
she's in San Francisco and she lives in Chinatown and owns a tea shop that no one goes in. She has like one customer. So the fact that this guy ends up dead in her tea shop, and there's like 6 characters, and Purple Debbie was reading it and she was like, I love it. I'm like, I haven't started it yet. She made a little list of the characters.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So she could remember who's who. And I literally just like, I want a rainy day where I just can sit and read.
I just listened to some good books.
And it's been a long time since I've had a book where I'm like, oh my God, I want to inhale it.
What was the last book I just read? And I said it was like, Where'd You Go, Bernadette?
Oh, yeah.
The Sweet Spot?
Yes, the Sweet Spot.
That
Yes.
was really cute.
That was the bookshelf. She recommended that.
I liked The Sweet Spot.
I read The Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane, and I love her books. It wasn't my favorite of her books, so I love her writing style. I love it. But I wasn't like pulling for any of the characters. And that's my only thing I have to say about that. That's it. I wasn't like, I want it to go well for him and I want it to go for her. I just was like,
I felt like The Sweet Spot took me a little while to get into listening because it was like, here's a person. Then it was like, here's a person. I'm like, I know they're all going to come together. And then once they come together, it's fantastic.
Yeah. But Half Moon was, I struggle to recommend it. Like, I love her. And I'll definitely read her next. Like, she's one of my favorite authors. But Walking People was my favorite. And then Ask Again, Yes was really good. She has another one. I haven't read her Fever one. I should read that one. That's a true story.
I'll have to put all these on my list. I don't think I've read any of them.
But anyway. All right. So I think that's it. We need to eat.
Yes, I gotta make dinner.
And we have our Zoom at
Zooming.
7 with our patrons. So if you want to join Patron, you always are welcome. You go to our whatever. I'll link it here. And you can just be $3 a month and you get to Zoom with us once a month. And if you're $10 a month, it's twice a month, and then there's yarn
we do
and
gifts
prizes and gifts.
yarn of the month.
And we have fun. And our friend Judy from Florida is coming up to visit us on
I can't
Monday.
wait.
She's going to the Today Show in the morning, which I'm totally going to record and take pictures of. Like, and then she's coming to us in the afternoon.
Yes.
So I told that story today. People from all over, we've become friends because of all of this. Right? Who would have thought we'd have all these friends?
I know. It's so weird.
It is weird.
It's weird.
It is weird.
And I love it.
I love it
We're
too.
weird people. It's weird. We're weird. I get it.
But we have our people.
We found our people.
But-
It's nice when you have people who like the same things. All right, I really have to go make dinner now.
Yeah. All right.
And
all right.
my beer's out.
Okay. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time. Okay. Hit the thing.